All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I have just finished playing Black for the first time ever, a game that was released on the original Xbox and PS2. I think it's PC as well. It was on Game Pass, so I decided to just download it. I didn't have to pay for it. Great. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird game. It's one of those games where I wish I wanted to like it more, but the gameplay kind of held it back a bit. Um, so first of all, we're gonna go with the music and you know, the music and the graphics or the sound. Um, so from a sound perspective, the game sounded great. Voice acting was fine. The cutscenes were fine. The cutscenes, it's weird. It could probably there was no skip, which is annoying. Um, I actually liked though the rest of the graphics. It looked fine for the period of time that this came out at. This is actually pretty good. It came out 2006, I believe. So it's what I would expect from a game from that era. Nothing spectacular. Um, the way I would have described it. Now I'll say that a bit later. So from a sound perspective, it's fine. From a graphic perspective, so it was fine if you consider the time period of time that came from. Yes, if you compare it to something more recent, some of it will be worse, some of it will be bad, or better. But in this case, it was pretty even keel. I think from that perspective, it was fine. Where the game loses me is the gameplay. Um, the controls are, I guess, okay. I guess it's a product of its time, right? So it's fine. That I'm not super um, um, worried about. What I am worried about, or what I don't like about the game, is the fact that the enemies are bullet sponges. I mean, some people have even seen me on stream. Like, it seems like it takes 100 bullets to kill one guy, which is stupid. I hit you in the head. I understand maybe one or twice. Okay, fine. I'm not looking for realism here, but come on, it's kind of frustrating. And it lasted all the way to the end. It was worse towards the end. I think they made the enemies just more spongy as the game went on to make it harder, which whatever. It's not super. It wasn't super or amazing for that matter. The storyline is whatever. It's a stereotypical storyline for back then. The way I would describe this, and I've described this before in this way, it's basically a poor man's version of Crisis. I don't know if Crisis was out at that point. I know they came out with a Crisis, I think, for a PS2, I think, and I don't know if it was out or not. But it's basically a crisis for a poor man's crisis. It's not. It doesn't do anything to the same level as Crisis did, even though it tries. Um, Obviously, this was a console game, so it kind of okay, fine. It the gun variety is okay, I guess. Um, Apparently, you get more health when you're playing an easy mode than harder mode. I don't know. I played it on easy mode. Basically, from what I saw, from the main difference between hard mode and easy mode is you don't have to do the secondary objectives like collecting intel, even though you do in the main. Like, even though if you do at easy, it doesn't do anything. You don't get rewarded for it. Um, so from that perspective, it's whatever. It's just a run and gun type of game. There's other games that have done it better since then, like Gears of War. No, if you're going for a game that's going from point A to point B and you're just shooting everything in between, Gears of War is probably the point of reference from that type of game. Um, and I know this is a product of its time, and I can't be too hard on it. But at the same time, I'm playing this game in 2022, and it has not aged very, very well. it really did not age very well. The gameplay is just it's weird, and also the way the buttons are placed is super weird. Like Y is basically just used to put in a silencer. Okay, what a waste of a button. Um, if you want to, I'm so used to now newer games having the right bumper, not the bumper, but the right button in the back to be the how you used to focus and be a sniper. Here it's the right thumbstick, which is weird. You get used to it, but it's still weird in 2022 to play that way. And probably the biggest frustration that I have with the game, and this is really from a product of its time, it's the freaking checkpoints, and it's so freaking annoying. So you'll have a mission, and within the mission, you'll have like sub checkpoints, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. But if you close the game and reopen it, you can only start from the beginning. You don't start from where you finished that last checkpoint. So in some cases, like the quick resume didn't work, and I had to go back, and I was almost at the end of the mission, and I had to restart all over again, which is really annoying. Um, so having said that, it that was really that took me away from the experience. It was really frustrating. So like on top of having to kill these guys that are bullet sponges, and you're like finally making progress, and to start the mission all over again, knowing like I get you started up again, but at the same time I don't know. Sorry, no. I really don't. I am not really not a fan of that. So would I recommend Black? I'd recommend it to play it once. I don't think there's lots of replayability unless you start at easy, and then the next time you play it's your medium, and then you play it hard. I guess that could be a thing, but I don't envision this being some game that you would go back and play. Once you play it once, you probably will never go back to it. I think it's an like I've had games that were a lot worse than this. If I had to give, no, I don't give a rating anymore really. But if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 6 on 10. Um, there is the potential. There's some areas that were really fun. Like there was an area where you're kind of like in this like part of the city where there's broken buildings, and that was really fun. But other than that, it really wasn't like there's a few places where it was frustrating. The last um, room or whatever mission, that last part, it was really like you're trying to get cover, and the game is just not fair with you, which makes no sense. Um, and then to realize like at the end, like I just all I needed to do is like you can literally finish the last. It is true, you can finish the last room in about 10 minutes. I was being stupid where I was trying to take down everyone because I thought that's what I had to do. But apparently, that's not what you had to do. So, yeah, it's weird. But having said that, I think it's a slightly above average game. I don't think it's one that particularly aged well. It's on Game Pass. It's there. It's a backwards compatible game. I think there would have been other games that I would have found really good, like um, what's the game? Fear would have been a game. Like Fear 2 and 3, I think, are on Xbox, but Fear 1 is not. Um, or they're not on Game Pass, anyways. And it'd be really cool for it to be on a newer console. I think that would have been nice to bring that back more than Black, I think. But I can see how a lot of people could have had fun with this game back in the day. I don't know how I would have played that with the big controller of the original Xbox. Um, it's really difficult to aim, a lot more difficult than other games, and I think it's also a product of its time. But it's like you're shooting and you're like shooting all over the place, and I think they were going for like realism, but at the detriment of the gameplay, and I don't think that actually helped it. Anyways, I think it's worth playing it once, but I don't think it's one that's going to be very memorable. Having said that, there goes the review for Black, the last game that I played. Took 2 months. I started playing it in September. I finished it finally now, because of reasons. But I am back, and yeah, if you want to follow me on YouTube, I'm on Corporate Gamer. On Twitch Corporate Gamer 9. I'm Corporate Gamer 9 also on Twitter. And I also have a roundtable.ca, which is my Facebook page. We also have a Twitter account, and we also have a webpage, roundtable.ca. That's where we do TV, music, and movie reviews and video games. And I haven't done a lot of video game reviews. I'll be honest. I haven't been able to do that, especially with a kid on the way and taking care of my current kid. It's been a bit of a challenge, but I'm hoping to be back into it, and this is the start of it. So stay tuned, and I will be playing more games. All right, guys, have a good one. See you.